Premier taking his case for tighter travel controls straight to Pearson today.
Doug Ford outlining his list of demands to Justin Trudeau. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Colin DeMello is live with more. Colin.
Well, now that the COVID-19 variant, Zarada, has been confirmed in terms of community transmission in Ontario, the Premier is turning his attention to the Canadian border in an effort to prevent more cases from coming in. As Ontario sees a rise in the number of new cases of the COVID-19 variant, more attention is being paid to airports and international travel, with the Prime Minister now promising additional measures are on the horizon.
To make sure that we are further discouraging non-essential travel.
During the early days of the pandemic, Canada sealed off its borders to most foreign travelers, while Canadians and permanent residents could still travel for essential purposes. Earlier this month, anyone returning to Canada had to get a negative COVID-19 test before boarding their flight. But still, volunteer testing at Pearson Airport revealed a problem. People were still testing positive.
With the few thousand tests that we've done, a positivity rate of 2.5%. 30,000 people are flying in to Pearson every single week on international flights.
The Premier is now calling on the federal government for three things: a ban on all international travel from countries with the variant, including Brazil and Portugal, new quarantine measures, including COVID-19 isolation hotels for 14 days for international travelers, and mandatory testing for all international travelers who arrive at Canadian airports.
Make sure that it's mandatory to get tested both ways, a pre-flight test, and when you arrive, another test.
While the Prime Minister didn't announce any new measures today, the government seems to be weighing the consequences.
We are reliant on supply chains from around the world for food, for goods, for essential medications, and we do not want measures that we have to have an impact on those essential supply chains.
Provincial critics say a delay in decision-making could lead to more cases slipping through. And the provincial government is also relying on anonymized cell phone data taken from December that they say shows that about 25% of travelers coming to Toronto are not quarantining, as is the federal law. They say that's why they're pushing the federal government for enhanced quarantine procedures for international travelers. At Queen's Park, I'm Colin DeMello. Now back to you.
Thank you, Colin. When it comes to the daily numbers, once again, Ontario is seeing fewer than 2,000 new cases.
But the number of completed tests is way down, with only about 30,000 processed in the last 24 hours. Public Health Ontario is reporting 1,740 cases in its most recent update. That brings the total number of cases over the course of the pandemic to nearly 259,000. 63 more deaths are linked to the virus, putting that figure at 5,909. And more than 2,200 additional cases are considered results, raising that number to nearly 228,000.
When it comes to the regional breakdown, 745 new cases are reported in the city of Toronto, with 320 in Peel region and 144 in York region. There are 59 new cases in Hamilton, with 51 in Durham region. Both Halton and Niagara are logging 49 additional infections.